I have a self-destructive habit. For 5 years, I've tried to break it and failed. If you can relate, then this video is for you, because this month I'm going to enlist the big ideas from James Clear's Atomic Habits and BJ Fogg's Tiny Habits, along with some of my own insights, to hopefully break that bad habit for good. And I'm going to do it in public so you can learn as I learn what works and what doesn't. In this first video today, we'll set ourselves up for success by learning and applying 4 big ideas from Atomic Habits: the 4-step habit building process, the identity habit loop, cues and plans. Lastly, you'll learn a bonus big idea that you can use to break bad habits way more easily than how I'm doing it. Hi, I'm Kevin Mepham. For 17 years now, I've been obsessed with how you and I can build lives that thrive as we age and right now by focusing on proven fundamentals. Welcome to Thrivespan. I hate to admit this, but I am sabotaging that thriving life of mine by drinking too much, too often, and at the wrong time. Here's how it's hurting me. Drinking at the wrong time sedates me when I have stuff to do. Alcohol ramps up my body's stress response. At the same time, alcohol is a depressant. Too much alcohol at the wrong time is wrecking my sleep, which further depresses me. And alcohol is literally a poison. Like me, do you also have a habit that you want to change? And even though, like me, you know why you should, you're still struggling? Keep that habit in mind and keep listening. Let's start with Atomic Habits big idea number 1, the 4-step habit building process. To harness our habits, we need to understand what they are and how they're formed. A habit is simply a behavior that has been repeated enough times to become automatic and unconscious. Automatic is good. Habits let us get things done without having to think about them. We form a habit by repeating a 4-step loop over and over. Cue, craving, response, reward. Step 1, cue. Cue is something that you notice that predicts a possible reward. To make a good habit, you want to make the cues obvious. To break a bad one, like I'm trying to do, you want to make the cues invisible. Once you have a cue, then you move on to craving. So that's step 2, and that is you wanting this reward that the cue has told you you might be able to get, and that then motivates you to go after it. For good habits, you want to make that reward attractive. Bad, you want to make it unattractive. Step 3, response. You decide to act on the craving. This is the behavior that you're now going to perform to get that reward. For good habits, make the behavior as easy as possible. For bad, make it as difficult as possible. Which brings us finally, hopefully, to step 4, reward. The thing that either satisfies your craving or doesn't. So it teaches you which cues, cravings, behaviors to repeat and which ones not to bother with. For good habits, make the reward as satisfying as possible. For bad habits that you want to break, make it unsatisfying. Enough of the background. We know what results we want, and we know why we want them, so why don't we just start doing the new behaviors that get those results, right? You and I and everyone else who is struggling with habit change know it's not that simple. Here's why. Atomic Habits big idea number 2, the identity habit loop. See, those old habits that you want to change, they belong to your current identity. And that identity will resist you changing because that's not who I am. So if you want to find the motivation to change and to make those changes stick, you kind of have to start by changing your identity. How? I'm a big fan of immersing yourself in this new identity, hanging out with its people, consuming its books and its podcasts. That's been very successful for me. What I've learned from Atomic Habits is that an effective way to change your identity is to change your habits. Yes, I realize that's circular. It's a loop. While your identity shapes your habits, which is what we want, your habits also shape your identity. They are the evidence of who you are. As Atomic Habits beautifully puts it, each action you take is a vote for the person you wish to become. You use the identity habit loop like this, two-step process. 1, decide the type of person you want to be. Choose the outcome you want. Write a book, get a six-pack, moderate your drinking, and then ask yourself, who is the type of person who could get that outcome? And then 2, with small wins, prove to yourself that you're this person. Ask yourself, how would this person behave? And start to behave like that in small ways. You can use me as a case study. What do I want to be? A moderate drinker. How does a moderate drinker behave? Doesn't drink every day, doesn't drink a lot on the days he does drink, doesn't drink in a way that negatively affects his life, and is not controlled by his drinking habit. I know all this, and yet I have not been able to bootstrap up this new moderate drinker identity from scratch. But here's where my big idea comes in. I don't have to start from scratch, and neither do you. See, while I'm not yet a moderate drinker, I have come to realize that there are already 4 parts of my identity who want to behave in ways consistent with moderate drinking. I am, 1, a cocktail gourmet with a passion for mixology. I drink to taste incredible flavors. If a drink doesn't wow me, and most don't, I won't drink it. 2, a social drinker. I most enjoy experiencing those incredible drinks together with my friends, not alone. 3, I'm a guy who's committed to living each day at my full potential. That means I don't drink when I have stuff to do, and I don't let alcohol screw up my sleep. 4, I'm a free agent. I'm not enslaved by my habits. That means I don't drink out of habit. If I could just behave like those 4 identities and eliminate any behaviors that are inconsistent with them, sounds to me like I'd be a moderate drinker, at least by my definition. And the part of you that wants to change, it's already there inside you, and it is the seed of your new identity. So ask yourself, who is that aspect of you? What are they like? What do they want? How would they behave if they were in charge, like my 4 identity pieces? Okay? Now, in small ways, start putting them in charge. Of course, even with our new identities calling the shots, we still have the challenge of eliminating the bad behaviors. We're going to need more big ideas. And that brings us to cues and plans. Atomic Habits big idea number 3, discover your cues. Remember, the cue is what starts the whole thing going. It triggers the craving that motivates the response, the behavior. So before you can change your behavior, you need to know your cues. But that's not easy. Because when you have a habit, it's not just your response that's automatic. It is your detection of cues to respond to. You notice those unconsciously. So to find out what your cues are, you have to cultivate a certain awareness. I find it's cool to think of yourself as an anthropologist studying the tribe of you. You've got a journal, that's your field notebook. You write down in that, when he does that odd behavior, it's always after this thing happens. Maybe that's a cue. For example, when I studied my moderate alcohol behaviors, I discovered that most of them were triggered by 4 cues. Cue number 1, in no particular order. My partner leaves the house and I'm alone. Craving that comes from that? I crave a drink because now's my chance. No one can see me and disapprove. Second cue, I have an open bottle of sparkling wine in the fridge. The craving is make one champagne cocktail after another until it's gone. Cue number 3. I finish the drink and I'm holding an empty glass with ice in it in my hand. Craving? Put another drink in that glass. Cue number 4. I'm at a dive bar with the running group and friends are ordering drinks. So I crave, order gin and tonics for me and my partner, even though dive bar gin and tonics are crap. Okay. What are your cues? Be the anthropologist and find out. Once you've discovered them, you can do a couple of things. One hard and one easier. And we're going to start with the hard one because that's what I'm doing. Atomic Habits, big idea number 4. Plan your responses. People who make a specific plan for when and where they will perform a new habit are more likely to follow through. See, many people think they lack motivation when what they really lack is clarity. An implementation intention is a plan you make beforehand about when and where to act. When situation X arises, it's the cue, I will perform response Y, the response. For new habits, this can look like, it could be a time and location cue. I will do this behavior at this time in this location. So I will water my ficus tree on my balcony every Tuesday and Friday. See, it's doing better. Or what's called habit stacking. After I do a current habit, I will do a new habit. So you're stacking your new habit on top of your current one. After I take my twice weekly med, I will water my ficus tree. Now I'm trying to break a bad habit, not to start a new one, but I'm still going to try this approach to deal with my 4 problem drinking cues. Here are my plans that will replace the current bad response with a better one. When my partner leaves the house and I'm alone, I will start a project that will take 30 minutes because the urge is usually passed by then. When I have an open bottle of sparkling wine in the fridge, if I can't leave it alone, I will pour it down the drain. When I finish the drink and I'm holding that empty glass with ice in it, I will get up, dump the ice, and put the glass in the dishwasher. When I'm at the dive bar with the running group and friends are ordering drinks, I will drink water, or I will order a non-alcoholic tonic and bitters and offer to get my partner one. What implementation intentions can you plan for your cues? Planning isn't just for cues. When I know that I'm going into a free-form social drinking event like that baby shower last weekend, I will sit down in advance and write a plan for how I'll manage it. It's all well and good, but resisting our existing habitual responses to cues like this takes willpower, and willpower is limited. If you're trying to break a bad habit, there's an easier way. Bonus big idea from Atomic Habits. Design your environment. Normally, the best way to eliminate a bad habit is to reduce exposure to the cue that triggers it. We do this through environment design. Environment is the invisible hand that shapes human behavior. So get your bad cues out of sight and ideally put the cues for the replacement good behavior in their place. Move the candy off the counter to the back of the pantry and replace it with the bowl of fruit that you should be eating instead. Move the social media app off the front screen of your phone and replace it with an e-reader so you can read some good books like Atomic Habits and Tiny Habits. Even better, get the bad cues out of the environment altogether and keep yourself out of the environments where the bad cues are. That also makes the bad behavior a lot more difficult to perform. Bonus. This is what I did successfully years ago with unhealthy foods, and it's what I would be doing now if my goal was to stop drinking. All my alcohol would be out of the house, and I would be out of the drinking-oriented social groups. Because moderating existing habits instead of just quitting them, that is hard mode. To succeed on hard mode, I will have to learn and test a lot about effective behavior change this month. And I'm going to share it all with you. My good, my bad, and my ugly. So subscribe to this channel so you don't miss an episode. Comment with the habit challenges that you're struggling with. Share this video with a friend who could benefit from it. And watch this video next to sleep more and better using everything that I've learned from 5 years of hacking my sleep. Till next time, thrive now for life.